Hey guys, this is Candle, and it's time for a new collection video, a new gaming pickups video. I've got a decent stack here, but we're probably going to go through this fairly quickly because I haven't really had a chance to play many of these as of yet. I've been really busy the last couple weeks, but I did end up going shopping a couple times, and some of these are even actually still sealed. So let's go ahead and kick things off with a couple games that I found at Best Buy that I did not expect to find at Best Buy because they were published by Limited Run Games. And that is the Switch versions of No More Heroes and No More Heroes 2. Definitely glad to have these. They are still sealed. I don't think I'm planning on opening them anytime soon because, well, I already played these on the Wii, so I don't really need to play them again. However, I did want to add them to my collection because I have No More Heroes 3 on the Switch. In fact, the only Switch No More Heroes game I'm missing is Travis Strikes Again. I need to find a copy of that at some point. But yeah, definitely glad to have these, add them to my collection. Speaking of other Switch games, which in fact are still sealed because I haven't had a chance to play them, I picked up Shin Megami Tensei 3 Nocturne, the HD remaster, and Shin Megami Tensei 5. And the reason why these are still sealed is because they are big, fat JRPGs, and I just haven't had a chance to play them yet. Maybe in the coming weeks. I don't know. We'll see. But I've heard good things about, both of them, about the Shin Megami Tensei series. So definitely interested in trying these out at some point, see what's up with them. So yeah, I did get one more Switch game, but it did not make it here in time for this video, so that will be next time. However, I did end up going to Salvation Army, which I don't particularly like shopping there, but on occasion I do find some interesting things, and I got a small handful of PC games there, which is about like the only thing I usually find, though. And these are all jewel case. So it's not like big box or even the small box that you see on the shelf back here. They're all just jewel case. But still, definitely glad to have them. First up, Age of Empires 2, The Age of Kings. Now, I do have a complete small box copy of this, but I wanted the jewel case as well because this is just an amazing game. Never have enough copies of this. So definitely glad to have that. I also got really cool arcade games. This is a collection of 16 great games and on one CD-ROM, and they're all pretty much arcade knockoffs. You have Pretty as Miss Pac-Man, Awesome as Asteroids, and Mad as Missile Command. So basically, there's like 4 different Missile Command games. You've got a couple Pac-Man games. You've got a couple Tempest games, believe it or not, as well as like Whack-A-Mole and Asteroids and Arkanoid and things like that. This is like all this is like really old because it says in system requirements 486 PC compatible or better and Windows 3.1 or better. It's like, wow. It's on a CD-ROM too, so it's definitely kind of weird. Also, what's really weird is when you look at this, it says it contains shareware and freeware programs. So basically, all of this you could have had for free, and yet somebody at some point bought it, and then I bought it as well, but it was only like a couple bucks. So, anyways, beyond that, I also got some edutainment, which is classic educational entertainment, and these are classic PC games that may be familiar to you if you grew up in the 90s, kind of like I did. So first up is Math Blaster, and this is ages 9 to 12, and then also ages 9 to 12 is the Clue Finders Reading Adventures. Now, Math Blaster I am a bit familiar with. Math Blaster, Science Blaster, that thing. Clue Finders not so much until I looked at the back and realized that this is the same program that had Reader Rabbit. Unfortunately, the higher ages are not Reader Rabbit. Reader Rabbit is just like the early stuff. Preschool, or actually it even goes baby all the way up to about 2nd grade is Reader Rabbit, and then 3rd grade onward is the Clue Finders. So basically 9 months to like 6 or 7 years old, 6 to 9 years old is Reader Rabbit, and then 9 to 12 years old is Clue Finders. And they've got like other programs in here as well. I mean, this one's specifically just reading, but in their catalog they have other programs. It shows it on the back here. Kind of hard to see, but they've got like math and typing and that kind of stuff. So definitely glad to add these to my collection, just purely for nostalgia's sake. What was not for nostalgia's sake, however, is this. Skies of Arcadia Legends. This has been on my list to play for a long time. This was originally a Dreamcast game that, when the Dreamcast died, got an enhanced port over to the GameCube, and this is actually kind of sought after. I paid about, $160 for this. I think market value is more like 150, 155 at the time. It may have changed by now. But so I overpaid it just a little bit, but not by too much, so I don't mind that so much. Definitely glad to have it. I mean, it's complete. It's all here. You got the disc and everything. The only thing I was sad about was it did not come in an official GameCube case. It actually came in like just a standard DVD case. However, thankfully, I did have a spare GameCube case, so I was able to switch it over. You know, a spare official GameCube case. Definitely looking forward to playing this at some point, but again, this is a big JRPG, which is why I haven't dived into it yet. But that's not the only GameCube game I also picked up. I also got Harry Potter and the Chamber of Secrets, which will also connect to the Game Boy Advance game, which I do also have now, thankfully. Got that back a couple months ago. And again, this is all complete. Don't really want to say too much about Harry Potter. J.K. Rowling is a TERF, and I do not much care for her anymore. In fact, I don't even have any of her books on my bookshelves anymore either. But I am still collecting the games, mostly because, A, she doesn't see any direct money from it anymore, because these are resells. You know, I bought a used copy. And B, she only got money basically off the licensing deal to begin with. I don't think it probably did not include royalties. But this was, you know, produced as a movie tie-in, so definitely glad to give this a go at some point. A lot of the Harry Potter games are like way better than they have any right to be, but still definitely glad to have it. And the last bit in this collection video update is 4 more games in one of my all-time favorite franchises. We're going to start off with this one, Final Fantasy XII, The Zodiac Age. This is the standard edition, just basic case, but it still has a reversible cover. I haven't done that yet because it doesn't have the appropriate badging on it. I like reversible covers, but I also don't like them because very rarely do they actually have the badging on the spine, which I always like having that. But definitely glad to add this to my collection. I did already have a copy, but it was the launch Steelbook edition. So definitely glad to add the standard edition now. And so now the only PS4 Final Fantasy games I'm missing, at least at this point, are the complete editions for Final Fantasy XIV, as well as the Ultimate Collector's editions for 15 and 7 Remake. You know, the first class edition for 7 Remake. So I believe other than that, I have every single edition. Oh, and Collector's Edition of Final Fantasy X 10-2 HD Remaster. I don't have that. But yeah, collector's editions, I'm not, you know, the super rare ones, I'm not so into getting right now, mostly because, again, they're super rare, super expensive, but still glad to have it. Speaking of collector's editions, though, I also finally picked up the Final Fantasy 15 Deluxe Edition for Xbox One. When Final Fantasy 15 first came out, I got the Deluxe Edition, you know, the Steelbook and everything, but it was for the PS4. So definitely glad to add the Xbox One version. This includes this really nice Steelbook case with the Amano artwork. It includes Kingsglaive as well as Final Fantasy 15. So Kingsglaive is the movie that launched alongside it, and it's on a separate Blu-ray disc in here. Or at least I'm assuming it is, because that's how it is in the PS4 version, and I have not actually opened this. This is still, in fact, sealed. So you can see some of that, you know, right along here. It's still sealed. I honestly have no reason to open this now, because if I want to watch Kingsglaive, it's available on streaming places. Plus, I have the disc on PS4 already open, and I have the Final Fantasy 15 Day 1 edition, you know, the standard edition, already on Xbox if I wanted to play it that way. So I'm still missing the Royal Edition, which is gonna suck trying to get, because I don't remember if the DLC is oh, I'm pretty sure. Hold on one second, because I have the Royal Edition for PS4. Yeah, so that's gonna suck trying to get, because I'm gonna want to get it brand new for Xbox One. I'll put that back. I'm gonna want to get the Royal Edition brand new for Xbox One, which is gonna suck because it's got a DLC code in it for all of the actual content. You know, all the season pass content plus the Royal Pack content. Because the disc, it'll say Royal Edition on it, But the disc is literally just the base game for Final Fantasy 15, so that kind of sucks. However, those aren't the only Final Fantasy games I picked up. I also finally picked up Final Fantasy Crystal Chronicles: The Crystal Bearers, which is the Wii game, which was it's the Crystal Chronicles game that was exclusive to the Wii. The Wii also got another Crystal Chronicles game, Echoes of Time, but that also has a DS version. Now, of course, there's going to be differences between the Wii and DS versions. Sorry, I'm peeling off the remains of the sticker here. There's going to be differences between the Wii and DS versions, but it's still, you know, kind of the same game. Still, definitely glad to have this one. I heard interesting things about this when it came out, but I never actually picked it up then, so I'm definitely interested in giving this a try at some point. Definitely glad to have that. And I also picked up something that I almost completely forgotten about until I saw it, and I have a feeling this is kind of a bit more of a rare game, even though it wasn't that expensive, and that is Final Fantasy Fables Chocobo's Dungeon. So this is kind of a spiritual successor to the Chocobo Dungeon games on the PS1, but it's part of the Final Fantasy Fables sub-series of the franchise, which ended up actually only getting one other game. They both came out around the same time. It was on the DS. It was Final Fantasy Fables Chocobo's Tale. So I still need to get that one, but actually I have almost all of the Final Fantasy games on the Wii. The only one I'm missing is Echoes of Time now, I believe. Because there was My Life as a Dark Lord and My Life as a King. I think we're tied to the Final Fantasy franchise, but those were exclusive to WiiWare. As far as I know, they never got physical releases. The same with Final Fantasy IV After Years. I don't think the Wii version ever got a physical release. So I don't need to worry about trying to collect those. And yeah, that is it for now. Like I said, there was one more Switch game I had on the way, but it didn't get here quite in time. There's a whole story about that, and I'll tell you next time. So until then, I will see you guys next time. Thanks for watching. Please remember to comment, rate, and subscribe.